discussing the construction of a dress shirt. So we're going to talk about the thread count. We're going to talk about just how it's the composition of a dress shirt, so you can see how it's made, what type of just the materials itself that goes into a dress shirt. So you can see the high quality of it as well. So we'll start off with the thread count. So if everything is the same, so when you're comparing thread count, so your weave, your ply, your mill, the type of cotton, if all of that is the same, the higher the thread count means more of a smoother, like a silkier, of course, more expensive fabric. So the thread count is often referred to with a number like your 50s, your 80s. It can go from 100s, 120s, 140s, 160s, keeps going up, and up to 200s. So you would be excused for thinking, that 80s equals 80 threads per inch, but that would be incorrect. So, and it's definitely a misconception like a common misconception in the industry as well. So rather than that, these numbers really refer to your yarn size. So 140s means there are 140 hanks, which is one hank equals about 840 yards, a yarn in 1 pound. And regardless, the 140s fabric has a higher thread, just a higher thread count than 120s and 160s fabric, and has a higher thread count than the 140s and so on. If you ask us, what would be the thread count of a fabric, we'll probably tell you something like 140s, because that number is really easy to understand if it's not a literal measure of just a thread count. And so the next one is when you talk about plies. So you probably see that in certain dress shirts, or the verbiage on that. And no, it does not mean any type of toilet paper ply. One ply, totally different. So what ply is how many yarns are twisted together to make a single thread. So fabrics can either be 2-ply or single ply. So 2-ply means that the two yarns are twisted together to make a single thread that is then woven into the fabric. So, and do take note that this is not likely the 2-ply. Again, as far as any other 2-ply is specifically for the dress shirt itself. So the 2-ply fabrics are generally superior to single-ply fabrics because it's stronger essentially, and is woven into one as well. So compared to single, the compact versus normal yarns. So what that means is, it is kind of another interesting thing to look at for fabric construction, and of course is compact yarns. So compact yarns have more or less become the standard for premium Italian fabrics now, and are less common in China or India source fabrics. So a compact yarn is a higher quality yarn that is smoother and finer than the alternative. So fabrics woven from these yarns often feel finer and smoother than you would expect based on their thread count alone. So for example, a hundreds or 100 single ply compact fabric will feel like almost like a 160s 2-ply fabric that is not made from compact yarns. So it's a little different. Again, I'll use that example. You'll have 100 single ply but compact fabric will feel like a 160s 2-ply fabric that is not made from compact yarns. So let's go into warped and weft, or weft. So warp threads run vertically and weft yarns run horizontally. So a fabric will often use different types of threads in the warp versus the weft directions. So there's that part. And then really a summary. So, you might see a fabrics construction described as, something like 100/2 by 100/2. So it's literally 100/ sign and then 2. So the way you would read this is that it has 100s 2-ply threads running in both the warp and the weft directions. So, a more complex fabric might have a construction described as, 140/2 plus 70/1. And then it will be by 70/1 plus 140/2. So it's a lot to take in there. So this fabric itself is 140s, 2-ply fabric, because it's 140/2, that has a 70s single-ply threads interwoven to create kind of a texture or pattern. So that way you can kind of read it or translate it, if you will, a little easier. Now, dress shirts with high thread count are more expensive to produce and more desirable if you like your shirt silky, soft, and thin. So just remember that the thread count is not really everything itself. What I mentioned before, it's not the main part of being a soft or silky. It just depends on if it's compact or normal as well. So the weave of the fabric, the ply, and the mill that was producing, are also important factors, of course, to consider making the dress shirt. So not to mean that there's not cheap fabrics out there that are okay. In my line of business, I don't like them. I don't prefer them at all. I do not even offer them at all. My dress shirts I offer are 2-ply and above, so a very strong woven shirt itself. And like I say, it can be 120s, 140s that we offer, different levels of the thread count as well. But as far as compact, that is something important that we look at Reyna Clothier as well, because you have a more of a quality shirt that we have. So, and we provide that. So happy to say that, happy to educate anyone that did not know anything as far as the mill, the ply, the thread count, the compact description of the dress shirt. So happy to discuss it, happy to share this information. And like I said, we do offer it here at Reyna Clothier, very high quality thread count and compact dress shirts here. And it goes from 120s and above. So we have Egyptian cotton as well. So that is a whole different type of cotton where it's just a lot smoother to begin with. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And that is it. Until next time.